back. Hey, welcome, ladies, gentlemen, everybody out there in the internet community. Welcome back to the Impression Podcast. I'm your host, Xavi Carrey, and I'm glad to be here with the amazing CEO of Icon Industries.
How you doing?
Shayn. What's up?
Another day in paradise, brother.
Come on.
We're here in sunny San Diego, so can't complain.
Hey, it's Sunday, ain't it?
It is.
All right. We need to hurry
Sunday
up.
fun day. We're having fun, right?
Hey, always a fun day. Sun's out, guns out too.
There we go.
But with that being said, we got a little bit more of a special guest here today as well. It is one thing to have an amazing, powerful community entity like Shayn, but I am proud to say here today that I have another powerhouse as well. This individual is one of the most impactful, impressionable business powerhouses stationed out there over there in New York City, making it big for the entertainment industry. And I would be remiss if I couldn't share the stage with him. Mr. Delamothe, take the stage.
Thank you, Xavier, for having me. It's definitely a pleasure. We've known each other for quite a while, and I remember you were telling me the things that you were going to do, and you stuck to your word and made it happen. And I'm happy to be. I believe it's your first guest, so I'm definitely happy and very honored.
Hey, I'm telling you right now, I was shocked and awed when we had that conversation. I was like, you know what? Let's try it. I know you're extremely busy. You got if anyone has looked at this man's resume, it is extensive, very extensive. You're like a 27-year industry veteran.
Yeah, I've been in it for a long time. Like a lot of, I know we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of hip hop, and I've been fortunate to have come up in the hip hop industry, but also my uncle was someone major in the hip hop industry. So if you remember back in the days, the Fresh Fest tour, the first hip hop tour that ever go to stadiums and arenas, my uncle was the co-founder of that, right? That's when Run DMC, LL Cool J, Houdini, all those guys, the Fat Boys, when they were first going into like arenas and stadiums, my uncle was the co-founder of doing that, along with Russell Simmons.
Yep.
Right. And from that, whenever you heard the story of Jermaine Dupri becoming a dancer, that's how he started. It was my uncle that put him on.
That's
right.
Awesome.
So
awesome.
My uncle is the one that kind of sparked the whole Atlanta scene. Right. So, so that's what I come out of. Right. Just to give you a little idea.
And that the Atlanta scene, isn't that where Master P and them came out of?
They came out of New Orleans.
Oh, New Orleans. My bad.
Out of Atlanta is Ludacris, LA&B, LaFace Records, TLC, Jermaine Dupri, Dallas Austin. What do you call these? Migos. Yeah. So Atlanta has become the sort of the hotbed for the music industry, especially hip hop. And my uncle was the first one to actually kick that off years before it happened, right? He had a video show in Atlanta before even MTV came into the market, right? Doing urban music. So when we talk about doing history, you go back and you ask anybody back in the days about Cal Dupree, they're going to tell it. He's like a legend, right? So, but that's what I come out of, because whenever him and his partner did something, they always, it was something that was never done before. And they were always, they always got the people to come out. So coming from that sort of gave my mentality and my mind state of, you know, if you can build it, they will come.
Right.
And seeing what he's
Field of
done
Dreams.
over the years, not only with the Fresh Fest tour, but another event called Black Expo USA that toured the country. Another event years later called the Universal Circus, the Black Circus, all of that, right? So, if you're able to put a nice team together and build something, people are going to come.
Right.
100%. I mean,
It's all about the community.
It is
building community.
But we can always say it always starts with a vision.
Yeah, you definitely have to have that, like the leader, the visionary, the person who can see the big picture, the 30,000-foot view, and leave it, and then bring on the people, the community that helps with the 1,000-foot tasks.
Cool.
See, most people aren't visionaries, right? Most people aren't visionaries, and it takes it takes somebody that actually has the vision, that, just as you said, and the team to help make it happen, right? And sometimes it's a daunting task, right? But I mean, if you have the team and the right people behind you, you can make it happen. And I'm one of those people, I like not only talking about it. If we come up with an idea now and we continue to meet and come up with a plan, and then 2 years later we see it actually happen, that's what I live for. You understand? Not just to talk about it, right?
Yeah.
It's like once you see it actually, up on a billboard in Times Square, or at the major event place that you're doing, it's like, wow, we came up with this idea 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and now it's actually a reality, right? Yeah. We have thousands of people outside, or it's a big billboard in Times Square or something like that. So that says a lot, right? That's very telling in regards to the dedication that someone has in regards to a dream or building a vision and stuff like that. And I think stuff like that is very important. But you got to have a team to help you make those things happen.
You gotta have the visionary also has to have a really strong set of leadership skills, because having a vision without taking action, it's still not going to get anywhere.
Leadership skills, absolutely. Leadership skills is very important. That's why there's so many training courses on leadership skills,
right?
And how to be
$1 billion
a leader.
industry.
Because I'm sure you understand that there's a lot of people that want to be a leader, right? Or as how some people say, a boss, but they don't have the skills, right?
Right.
They want the title or they want the name, but they don't got the skills.
100%.
Well, that goes into, I do get philosophical at certain points, so please bear with me. But when we're looking at this at a trade point, you got an individual who's generally endured so much in life that all they want to do is impact the community. But then you have a different individual that may not have as much experience in that outright. How do you really determine who's really going to be the leader if they're going for the same company or that same position? It's hard. We could say who has the advantage, but in reality, it's really going to be the person that really can see further enough for that community to be able to touch the hearts and minds. Coming across the board from, even military services too. If the military itself, when they're going into different areas, they don't go down over there with, hammers and nails and all the rest of that. No, they're going over there for a community impact to try to help and better other nations. Just like businesses here locally, we're not trying to, catch a dollar. No, right. We're trying to individually set the tone and be able to provide the best quality service towards our community in order to build them up. Now, I like what you said about, being a boss and being a leader, because that boss is going to have that notion of just, okay, we're just going to drive production and we're just going to go and get our cash cow. That individual leader, like myself, Shayn, and yourself, we look at who are we going to impact? And when we're looking at that perspective, that in itself creates that magic that you were talking about with the billboard and all the rest of that. getting a person to see that vision is very, very, very unique, because not everybody's going to see your vision. The visionary is important, but the people that you're providing that vision to is more important, because if they cannot see it, then how will they know how to build it? Make sense?
Well, most people, I think that what I've noticed is that yes, you do have your visionaries, and it's important that you have a team of people to help you. And some people on a team, they may not see it, but if they believe in you, right? And this is where, your leadership skills come in. If they really believe in what you're saying, all you got to say is, look, I just need you to do this. I need you to do that. I need you to do that. And collectively, right, the vision starts seeing. Then they're going to be like, oh, okay, now I get it, right? So it's important to have people that actually believe in you. And I think that also goes a long way too. I mean, I remember when Damon Dash and Jay-Z started Rockefeller Records. Like, it was
we going there.
You like, first of all, you couldn't tell Damon nothing. You couldn't tell Damon that Jay-Z wasn't going to be the biggest thing. You couldn't tell him. But what they did was they had a team of people that went out there and worked at it. They literally had people that were in front of clubs with picket signs that had Rockefeller Records and Jay-Z. So
that's original street crew.
Yeah.
this is what I'm saying. So I've seen that happen. So I mean, it's when you have the people there around you that believe in you, right? And some, and back then some didn't see it. Some people thought Damon Dash was just being arrogant, which he does have his moments. But look what Rockefeller Records did.
Right.
Look what Rockefeller Records did, and that's and that's a great story, because in the beginning, I solely remember when Def Jam and a lot of other labels, they didn't want Jay-Z.
And who's one of the most successful hip hop artists today?
But I'm telling, I know a lot of these original stories. Like, I know the backstory. All right.
The origin story.
Yeah.
Right. The shit that they the stuff that they leave out in some of these interviews and articles and stuff like that. I know the backstory. So it's interesting when you see how big Jay-Z has become now. But even before that, when Rockefeller Records was becoming successful, right? But when they were starting, none of the labels wanted to talk to Jay. They didn't want, oh, he was whack. You're not going to do anything, and you put your team together and you go make it happen. And Rockefeller Records became one of the hottest labels out there, with one of the top hottest acts. Right. So, and it's about building a team, and I think that's very important. And I think for long term, you want a real successful team. Like, let's go on a corporate level now.
You want the team to have a shared vision too. Right. If they don't believe in the vision, they're not gonna work as hard for it. They're just collecting the paycheck.
Exactly. Now, now one of my other experiences is when I worked for Warner Brothers. At the time, Stephen Ross, he was the chairman, and his vision was, he didn't care what his department heads did. He was like, as long as y'all meet our quarterly numbers, that's what matters. And when he was there, Time Warner at the time, they had 93% of the global entertainment market.
Damn.
Right?
Okay.
That was the only time they was the biggest media company on the planet with the biggest global share. Right? But that was his vision in terms of the way he ran the company, was that he gave his department heads his different division heads the autonomy to do what they do best.
Yep.
But no, at the end of every quarter, you need to meet our quarterly numbers.
Yeah.
That's why back then, executives wanted to be at Warner, artists wanted to be at Warner, actors, everybody wanted to be at Warner.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So Stephen Ross is a perfect example of a great corporate leader. And unfortunately, when he passed away, that's when things started to decline with them.
Dang. See, you better hope they had key person insurance on that. But, it seems like it came across as a journey. And with that journey, can you give us a little bit of a glimpse into your journey and how you rose to the position of CEO in the global media industry? And what were some pivotal moments that shaped your career?
My journey. My journey, and I guess I don't want to get too long-winded. I started doing street promotions for a nightclub here called the Palladium. The Palladium was owned by the same guys that owned Studio 54, right? Steve Steckel, Steve Rubel, and Ian Schrager. And Ian Schrager is like one of the top hotel owners now. But so it started with that. And then it gave me sort of behind the scenes in terms of the club atmosphere. And at the time, the Palladium had all the big parties, right? The Grammys, the Oscars, all these different events. Saudi princes doing private parties. So I seen all of that, right? But more importantly, that sort of gave me the sort of the inside scoop. Then after that, I worked for Musicland Corporation, which had they were one of the largest chains here called Sam Goody, which now is called Best Buy, right? That gave me the front line of being in a record store.
Yep.
Right? What people like.
Right.
So that taught me a hell of a lot. After that, I went into the investment banking end. That taught me the corporate. Now, at the time I'm doing that, I was also doing stuff in the club, like going to the clubs and stuff like that. But the investment banking end, I got into the entertainment and media research. And I was a part of, I seen major entertainment deals happen. For example, the company I was with, they were the bank that helped Viacom buy Blockbuster, right?
Damn.
I saw the paperwork where they were giving Viacom $500 million to help acquire Blockbuster, right? So I'm saying these things to give you an idea of what I was exposed to. So, and I was always one that I wanted to understand how the business really works, and the investment banking end taught me the corporate end. Now, throughout my transitions that was going on, what I always used to do was read Billboard magazine. Anyone that knows Billboard magazine, Billboard is like the Bible or the Wall Street Journal of the entertainment industry. And I would read it religiously every day, like every week, religiously, to find out who's who. Right? So that helped me become somewhat of an encyclopedia of the music business and who's who. And in the midst of that, also, I started going to some of these conferences. We used to have a big conference here called the New Music Seminar, right? So these things kind of help shape me. Fast forward a couple years later, I wind up becoming a manager for a number of different artists. I ran a company called 720 Sound Management, which was headed by a hip hop artist by the name of YZ. If you remember a song called "Who Is the Man with the Master Plan?"
Yep.
Return to the Holy One. He was one of the first people to put out a hip hop group called the Poor Righteous Teachers, right? So I ran his management company, and that even gave me more of an insight into it, into how this works. Now, here's the thing: when I came on like somewhat of an assistant. So I wasn't like full, this was like 93. So I wasn't like fully experienced. So here it is, we have a roster of artists. I'm like helping out. A month into me being there, the main manager leaves. So everything is on me. Right? So you want to talk about having to learn contracts, booking, touring, merchandising, all of that shit? Like, as I went along, that was my training ground, right?
Hit the ground
like
running.
in real time. Yeah. Like in real, like there was
no practice.
So there was no practice. Like some people talk about, well, yeah, I had my mentor and they helped me every step of the way. Nope. I got like, life. You want to talk about getting thrown into the fire?
School of Hard Knocks.
You had life. Life was your mentor.
Like that shit. Like here, well, you know, you got to call up the booking agent and make the arrangements, huh? I'm like, what?
Pulling out a Rolodex.
You got to talk to the lawyer. And like so when I tell you I got thrown in the fire, and see, luckily, I was reading Billboard magazine, so I winged it a hell of a lot, and for the most part, I think I did a good job, right? So I kind of knew what I was dealing with, but it was like, yo, here it is. I'm here being someone's assistant, trying to learn under them, and now a month in, I get thrown right into the fire. Right? So it was it was a major learning experience. Yeah, I would do it all again. I mean, I've made some great relationships. We actually was in the same building as the Source magazine, right? And the Source magazine back then was like the Bible of the hip hop industry, right? So a lot of the guys in the Source, they were my close friends, and I was able to get a lot of things done. But still, like that was you want to talk about my official training ground? Being a manager, like getting thrown in the fire and learning management, right? Having to deal with lawyers, the record companies, negotiating deals, all of that. So after I left there, I worked for a couple other companies, and then, you know, fast forward to where I'm at now with Boardwalk Global Media. A good friend of mine, his name is MC Sticky. If you remember the record called Shake What Your Mama Gave You, he made that record. Yep. So he's done stuff with MOP, done stuff with Busta Rhymes. One of his other big records, Say What, just went double platinum. Whoa. So so him and I came together to do Boardwalk Global Media, which was supposed to be one podcast. This was back in 2019, right? And when we started, people started coming to us like, yo, we want to be a part of it. And one thing led to another, and we wound up building out a network. And in that network, you know, we wanted to have obviously different podcasts with different topics and things like that, which we did. We got one of the top people in New York City, in the club scene throughout the 90s. Her name is Maria Davis. Okay. If you talk to anybody in hip hop about Maria Davis, they know who she is. Maria Davis throughout the 90s, she had an event called Mad Wednesdays. everybody that's anybody came up through Mad Wednesdays. On Jay-Z's first album, Reasonable Doubt, she's the one on the album cover. She's the one on the beginning of the song. I think it's 22 Twos, where it's the club scene. Right? I was there that night. So, but she is a major staple in the hip hop community here. Everybody knows her. Everybody. So we were able to get her to come and do a show with us. We brought on another guy by the name of Al Pizarro, who has an entity called Hip Hop Boulevard, which is a hip hop advocacy organization. I've known Al for many years. Al had the top record pools here in New York City. He was the East Coast person for Death Row's street team. And we brought on a few other people. So we built an emerging podcast network. But in the midst of that, we also did other videos and things like that. So we became like a boutique multimedia entertainment company. We like that vision because, to me, I believe it's not about how many people, like having hundreds of people in your company. If you have the right people, like you can do a whole lot, right? You could do amazing things. There's an investment banking firm called Allen and Company. Most people don't even know who Allen and Company is. Allen and Company has about maybe 30 people, if that. Allen and Company, they're the ones that do if you ever heard of the Sun Valley Media Conference every year, that's them. That's where Mark Zuckerberg, Rupert Murdoch, like all your big media titans, tech titans, that's where they go. Allen and Company has been responsible for probably 50% of the major media deals.
Well,
right? And they're a boutique investment banking firm. They're not as big as Goldman Sachs or
they're really niche down in who their target
JP
audience
Morgan
is.
Chase or Morgan Stanley or Merrill Lynch. They're a boutique firm with like about 30 people. Right? Some people even call it, they're like a secret society, right? Because if you don't know them, you can't get in. Right? This is 2023. They don't even have a website. Exactly right. This is 2023. They don't even have a website. So I say that to say that has always been my motto, right? I always loved that motto where if you have a good group of people, you could build something great and you could have major influence, right? You don't have to have hundreds of people. So using that Allen and Company business model is what we wanted to do at Boardwalk Global Media, and keep it as a boutique style, but be able to do quality projects, quality content, quality deals. So when him and I came together and put Boardwalk Global Media, when we made that happen, we wanted to do stuff step by step, but it also, just wanted to have quality people, quality content. It wasn't just that, oh, well, hey, you want to do a podcast? Come on. No, it wasn't that. We want to bring on people that we know have something to say, but also too, in our hip hop culture, we're not just music anymore, right? We have a lot of people that have went into politics, have went into big business, went into advocacy. So there's a lot that we knew we could do, and we know that media and what hip hop media has become, how influential we could become, and more so, I wanted to give information that you don't see on mainstream media, right? Whether you're into CNN, Fox, MSNBC, or any of the other news outlets or any other talk show outlets. We wanted to give the real, we want to give the real facts, the real story. Like I always like to say, I want to give the story. I want us to give the story behind the story. So yeah, so I guess my rise was basically the different experiences that I've had, and I think when I fast forward to me and my business partner MC Sticky, when we created Boardwalk Global Media, as I said, it was only supposed to be one podcast, right? And actually, it was I was doing another show. Someone called me to do their show and wanted me to be on their show because they're like, Gary, you know everybody in the music industry. You got all the inside stuff. Why don't you come on our show and be our weekly industry insider, right? To give us all the latest updates. So I'm like, fine. So make a long story short, that didn't work out, but I had MC Sticky. He was the last guest on that show. So I told him, I'm like, look, I'm not doing this show no more. He was like, we should do our own. He was like, so he said, let's do it. Let's do our own. And that's how it came together. We planned, I think that was June of 2019, September 2019, we had our first show, right? We had our first show, and then throughout 2020, we had other people coming to us wanting to do a show. And like I was telling you, people like Maria Davis, who was one of the top Black female promoters here in New York City. We got her to come on. We got Al Pizarro from Hip Hop Boulevard. We got a few other people to come on the show to come on do a network with us. And we want to have quality content, right? We want the real stories to be told. And we knew that when it came to mainstream media, a lot of our stories was not being told. And if they were being told, they weren't being told fully. So we wanted to have content where people came to hear our stories. They hear it real. Like, as I always like to say, the story behind the story.
Right.
Because sometimes on these other shows, they'll give you part or half or just a little bit, or even just outright misinform or outright lie.
Yeah.
Right. So we wanted to bring we want to have on our podcast programs, the real hip hop stories. We also wanted to be sort of that hip hop media where a lot of us now, we're in our, some of us are in our 40s, 50s, 60s. So, so we ventured. So a lot of hip hop people have ventured into other businesses,
right?
Whether it be politics, whether it be corporate, whether it be healthcare. So we're literally the hip hop generation now, right? So we wanted to have that kind of content out there where now we're, we wanted to I guess if you want to call it the powers that be, see like, look, the hip hop generation is how impactful it is, right? Mm-hmm. So I guess in my rise, that's how it all came about. And we, I think we're at a point now where we're just going through a restructuring, a reorganization, and looking forward to the bigger things that's going to be coming, in the near future.
With building everything and building the business, and you guys kind of came together, formulating an idea, and then the idea has morphed and now coming to a full business. You were talking about it started kind of like with a podcast idea. How integral is podcasting to your business model? I mean, it's 2023. Like podcasts have for a lot of people have come out of nowhere.
Well, here's the podcasting is actually the main part of our business model, but what we've done is that we call ourselves a multimedia entertainment podcasting company, because from our podcasting content, then there's stuff we can do with music, film, TV, right? So it's not just we're just a podcast company. So but it does play a significant role in what we do. I mean, I know that there's some companies that they just do podcasts to do podcasts, but we actually, it's a major part of what we do. Yeah. But we like to it's very synergistic and integral with a lot of the other things that we do, because it spins out into other things, whether it's events, TV, film, all that stuff.
Yeah, here at Icon, a big thing that we focus on is we're brand builders, we're icon builders, right? But for us, one of the most integral parts is building out that podcast, because it's it's an instant source of credibility, and it's a content multiplier, right? You get to put the effort in one time, and then you get to create multiple pieces of content from it. It opens the doors to people you didn't think you'd actually be able to talk to. There's so many avenues you can take with just starting with a podcast, and if you use it right, it actually can help raise the level of your business and bring in more business for you.
No, I totally agree. I mean, one of the partners that we have is the Universal Hip Hop Museum.
Okay.
Right. And we did an interview with them December of last year. I think it was like Christmas Eve. I want to say Christmas Eve or the day before Christmas Eve. We went over there, and we were the first podcast to ever do something with them, because I don't know if you've seen in the media now, the Universal Hip Hop Museum has spent about 140 million building their museum. Mm-hmm. So the grand opening is, I believe, in 2025, but they had a pop-up shop that's been happening for the last year and a half. And we were the first podcast to ever go in there and do something.
That's amazing.
Right? So, and
building history.
So exactly. Exactly. So it's stuff like that, those type of relationships that we have. And as you said, with the content, because it's like, as you understand, when you have a podcast and you're able to go on location and film, like there's a lot of content that can be caught that you're not going to get on mainstream. Right. And I want BGM to be the destination where people are going to where they can come and see stuff that they're not going to see anyplace else. Right.
That's rad.
There's all these other YouTube shows that'll talk about, what's happening in the hip hop industry and stuff like that, which is great. And I've got nothing against that. But, I want them to see the content that we have and hear stuff from artists and executives themselves. Right. So I wanted to be really authentic. Right.
Right.
I mean, I know we have to do our, pre-production and post-production work, but I do when it's all said and done, I want it to be authentic when people see it.
Yeah.
That does bring up a lot. The reason why I say that is with, technology increasing, streaming platforms, different aspects going into digital material management. Being competitive, there has to be a lot of opposition out there, a lot of competitive companies fighting for that podcast space over there, not just in New York, but
fighting for the ears.
But yeah,
they
want to take those viewers.
Eyeballs.
What do you do, or a better way to put it is, what does your company do to combat that? with those changes that are occurring?
Well, one, what we are looking to do, or I should say, what we're in the process of doing is building out with distribution partnerships, right? Because it's one, it's you want to be able to reach our viewers or our customers wherever. Like I always say, wherever it has a screen, I want a BGM logo there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's my motto. Now I know that there's a lot of competition out there. How we're looking to combat it is with some of the strategic partnerships. I mean, because that's really where it's at.
It's the most
Because I mean,
powerful tool within business today.
seen people with money throw a few million and still don't get anywhere. Right? So
Facts.
so strategic partnerships is very important, right? And those, it's those kind of partnerships, and how those are structured, to getting into your target market, right? And our market is anybody that enjoys hip hop, anybody that follows what the hip hop industry does, anybody that's involved in advocacy, anybody that's involved in hip hop entertainment in general. So we want to create those kind of strategic partnerships that will help us stand out. Like for example, with the Universal Hip Hop Museum, right? Everybody in hip hop know who the Universal Hip Hop Museum is. So for us to do something with them, they see our logo next to theirs. It's like, oh, okay, these guys are something.
Credibility.
Or right, or if we partner with another good close relationship that we have is with Violator, right? Violator at one point was a top hip hop management company. Like they represented everybody, like 50 Cent, Puff Daddy, Baby from Cash Money, Missy Elliott, everybody. So we have but they have a podcast now. We have a close relationship with them. So everybody knows Violator. So if we do something and we partner with Violator, so it's instant credibility, right? Mm-hmm. To the viewers that may not know Boardwalk Global Media, but to the industry people, they already know the people behind Boardwalk Global Media. You understand? Right. They know that myself and MC Sticky, we've been in the industry a long time and the relationships. But for the people outside, the potential fans and consumers, they're going to be like, oh, okay, they must be something. Like these guys, let me check and see, who they are or what they're doing, right? Because it's about brand integrity, right? Anybody that has a strong brand doesn't want to partner with someone or an entity that's going to bring their brand down or that's going to tarnish their brand.
Well, because you're lending your credibility. Anytime you are doing a shared credibility thing where you're even if it's on a podcast together, you are lending your credibility to that person and they're lending their credibility to you. And so if you do anything to jeopardize that, it reflects on them as well.
Absolutely. And so that's where we're at. So I think, that's how we try to separate is just with the strategic partnerships that we have. And I think that's very important.
Oh yeah. It's a powerful tool.
I mean, more or less speaking of tools, we can talk about it, AI, different technologies, virtual realities, augmented realities, all of this is being included inside, the media platforms now. I mean, even by default, we have Chat GPT and all the rest of this, right?
Yeah.
And there's a variety of different apps. However, my question to you is, with all these future technologies that are impacting and potentially maybe even disrupting certain levels of the market, what are some new ways your business may be integrating or utilizing some of these tools to develop and interact with your audience?
I mean, what we're looking to do, I mean, clearly AI, Chat GPT, that's the future. So there's no way around that. I think that it can
embrace or get out of the way.
Right. I mean, it could help streamline what we do, right? But it doesn't take away. I think what's important is the creative aspect, right? As long as we have the creativity and we can keep the creative, as we say, we keep the creative juices flowing.
Mm-hmm.
AI and new technology they'll just help streamline it, right? So maybe get it to market quicker, right?
Right.
Whereas we didn't have that 10, 15, 20 years ago.
I look at the tools there. They're there to help you optimize the process, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a engineer prior to doing this stuff, I always look at like, how do I systematize this to make it more efficient? Therefore, the dollar spend goes further. At the end of the day, when you're running a business, the more you optimize the system, the greater your margins are.
Exactly.
And so if you can utilize tools such as AI that will help you streamline that system, I mean, I look forward to them. The more the merrier.
And especially to caveat off that, I mean, the worst thing you could lose in a business is time.
Right.
I mean, with all the competition and the variety of competitors working in essence in the same fielding, that timeline may come between you and them. And the person that you're trying to negotiate this deal with, who's going to work faster and more efficient.
Right.
Time is labor and labor is dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, it's how fast are you going to be able to turn around this product to get it to market, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And the new technologies allows us to do that. But, now, let's just say maybe 10 years ago, it may have taken you 2 weeks to get a product to a market. And I'm just throwing a number out there.
Yeah.
Right. But now, you probably could get a product out there with AI and new technology. You could get it out there in probably 48 hours.
You don't even need a product.
Right? Yeah.
You, in essence.
But I'm just saying, you get my point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to give no keys out there, but wink, wink to my audience. This might be a key. You could take AI in a way to be able to design a product that you do not currently have in order to be able to pre-sale that widget. That widget.
Yeah.
And then after these clients have paid for said product, you can already put it in post-production to get it generated to push out to your actual consumer.
Yep.
That is the direction that's being headed already. There's companies that's already been doing it. People in the clothing industry has done it, and that's becoming even faster with the incorporation of AI.
Yeah.
So there's going to be significant changes to coincide these technological changes that are occurring in the future. It's coming rapidly.
There are some pitfalls that people need to watch out for because, currently if you just put out content, you just put out stuff that's written and created by AI, there's no copyright to that still. Mm-hmm. So it's still the only way you can copyright something is if it is created by the human hand. Mm-hmm. So you can use it for idea generation, you can use it for this, but if you put out content that's created, you lose all control of it. You no longer you don't have the right to if it's found out.
Right. That's why I said, we can't. I think where a lot of people is falling short on is that I think that for content creators, it's still important to have the ideas come from humans, right?
It still has to be filtered through your brain,
right?
From your eyeballs to your mouth.
Like I'm a firm believer. I don't care how much information you put into AI, it's still not human, right?
Right.
So you want the creative ideas to come from human. AI could streamline it for you and do all the nice things to polish it up and stuff. But the actual idea, how it's laid out, all of that stuff, and you just use the AI and technology to tailor it to what your exact vision is, right? But I think to put AI in a to where they're the be all and end all,
doing all your work.
My opinion, I think that's a big problem.
Yeah, 100%.
It does do a lot of the heavy lifting, and a lot of concerns with some of the companies that I speak with. Xavi Exclusives has been conversing and assisting our community for a very long time now. But a lot of questions have been arising with some of the integrations for AI, and with the near future coming up on, with technology, what ways and what prospects will our companies have, and what dynamics or intrusions is AI going to have on that future? That is a dynamic question in itself, because the human factor, HR, right? The human factor is taking a little bit of a back road and being able to be deferred to AI to be able to contact your clients or those potential opportunities out there on your behalf. With this impacting just even the common companies, how much of this is actually impacting your company, sir?
It's not, it's not us yet. I mean, we like direct communication with our clients, right? I think that's very important, because I mean, if you're one of my clients, I want to talk to you. I need to talk to you.
Yeah.
I want to hear what you have to say.
Have those face-to-face meetings,
right? Using AI to sort of be the intermediary. I mean, it just takes away from the human experience, right? And I think that's the problem. Like that's the issue that I have. Like, I don't want BGM to ever take away the human experience, because I want our fans, I want our clients, I want our customers to be able to talk to us, to be able to talk to them. And I think that's very important. I think to have these, if AI is going to be the intermediary to do all the talking and communicating, I think it just desensitizes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and this is just my opinion, I think it sort of just lets people feel like they're just a number and they don't matter, right?
It's funny you say that, because like I get, I don't know, hundreds of emails and LinkedIn messages, and you can tell they're all written by AI.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I mean, flooded with it. And now it's like getting to the point where I'm using, ChatGPT to respond to those ones, just and telling it to be like, just annoy the crap out of them so they stop sending me messages.
So it's literal AI to AI conversation. It's a loop. It's literally a conversation loop, which normal human to human interactions, this segue will always be conceptually a difficult portion, because as we're improving as a community, and as technology continues to increase and advance, things are going to become easier. We know this. It's going to happen. That's the whole point of technology. We just don't want Terminator to happen anytime soon. Okay, just throw that out there, right?
I tried asking ChatGPT about that, and it said it couldn't tell me. It said it goes against its directives. It can't tell me when they're going to take over.
Oh wow! Okay, that's funny. That's funny.
But realistically, even with all of those impacts, market changes and all the rest of that, the future still is bright.
Oh yeah.
Now for your company, sir, what do you see? What is your vision for the next few years to come? I want to know what's next for BGM. What's next for Mr. Delamothe? What's next?
Well, okay. Well, so let me, and I think I forgot something here, or as the conversation was flowing. So, as you know, I'm CEO and co-founder of Boardwalk Global Media, but I also have ESI Global Group, which is my management, consulting and strategic advisory company. And ESI Global Group is where I manage Baba T.
kick shit. Whipping in the alley for city, I got a thick bitch. Haters be talking to the back, girl, you heard what I said. Got a bounce on my lap, do a 12 when you dance. And I put it so fat, fit the world in your pants. Collect 100 sats, got me throwing up some bands. Make it clap, 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 clap. Throw it back, 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 back. Make it clap, 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 clap. Throw it back, 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 back. Front to the back, girl, you heard what I said.
To answer your question, on one hand, with Boardwalk Global Media, we're definitely looking to be a very impactful media company over the next 3 to 5 years. We definitely are looking to, well, I should say we're already involved in dealing with a couple of strategic partnerships that's going to heighten our brand and also put us in position to get even more quality content. Under ESI Global Group, I'm looking to build it into a stable management company in terms of not only talent management for artists and entertainment clients, whether it's individual or corporate, but also strategic advisory to entertainment companies, upcoming entertainers, and even other entities that may need, my service as a strategic advisor.
I love
Awesome.
that. I love that. Now, with this being said, this show has been very, very impactful.
Yes.
Personally, with Icon and seeing the direction that you guys are moving forward, seeing BGM and ESI moving forward, taking the world by storm. You two are definitely, amazing powerhouses, and I love the fact that both of you provided the opportunity to be on the show today.
Yeah, it was synergy. Just perfect alignment of timing, right? Or what do they call it? Divine alignment.
Absolutely, yeah.
With that being said, Mr. Delamothe, is there anything you would like to provide these entrepreneurs, these business owners, these aspiring individuals of our community, what they can do to get into your profession, sit in your seat someday?
You definitely have to do your research. Got to do your homework. Definitely got to do your homework. No matter how much they got AI doing all this stuff, you got to do your homework, right? It's important to really understand what you're getting into, what you're doing, how it works. You're not going to be able to know it all by yourself. You want to be around people of like minds. Look, you're not going to know everything. You want to have people that know other things too. Also too, there's a lot of stuff on YouTube, right? As how corny as that sound, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you want to get into, you Google it on. You could Google it on YouTube.
You learn skills on YouTube University.
People are literally like giving the store away, right?
Yeah.
They're literally giving the store.
Well, the difference between the people that are consuming it, like, I think it's Alex Hermosi says, like, you give away all the information. The only people that are going to put it to use are the people that are going to actually take action. You know what I mean? And people will, if you put out enough information, they're either going to take action or hire you.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I understand that. Okay, you drop out a little bit of, some gems to want them to get them to come to the link, to want to sign up and pay to be a part of the program. I get that, but you get a lot of others that's just giving away the store. They're giving away the store. So, people need to do their research. They need to go out and network in these different events and stuff like that, you'll be surprised of whatever. If you're dealing with the media and entertainment industry, there's so many events out there that you can go to and network and be a part of.
Business networking.
And you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised who you meet, who you run into and stuff like that. But just know when you do those things, you want to be upfront and honest. If you're starting out, tell them you're starting out. Don't tell them you have something that you don't have. Right? Because, you get people that they like to sort of make it things bigger than what it really is, right?
There's the
and
whole
nowadays people could just go on, right?
Mm-hmm.
People could just go on Google and YouTube and Google you.
Yeah, is that quick?
Then you
right?
get called out as a fraud quick.
Exactly.
There goes your whole career.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You get you get people, they'll Google you. So I think you want to be authentic with who you are. If you're going to put up stuff, because there's LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Make sure it's representation of who you are and what you do, right? Because people they want to see, right? And you'll be surprised how many people that there are out there that really want to help you or work with you, stuff like that. So I would say just do your research and just try to find yourself around good people that is that has the same type of vision, same type of drive, same type of ambition. And it's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of work, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of blood, sweat, tears. It doesn't come easy.
Right.
Right? Just understand that. It doesn't. Many nights you're going to want to quit, right? Mm-hmm. But I mean, you have to stick to it. And look, none of these stars, celebrities, media moguls that we see, it didn't happen overnight for none of them.
How important would you say it is in this day and age to in doing this and going down this line to not only build the brand of their entity but also build their personal brand?
Absolutely. Well, yes, it's branding is key, right? Branding is key because there's you definitely want a loyal brand. So the brand of your business, you want people when they see your logo, you want them to be excited,
right?
Mm-hmm. You want to inspire them to want to, okay, once they see your logo, wherever that is, they want to go, right? Your personal brand, you want that out there in the professional world where people know, where they hear your name, they know that, wow, this guy is, this guy knows his shit, right? Yeah. So you want your personal brand to be respected.
Right.
Now, look, at the same time, you're going to get, the more successful you get, you're going to get haters. That just comes with the territory. Mm-hmm. Right. True. And even the way things look, and things may look that you may be more successful than what you really are, but still, you're going to get haters because you're doing it.
Right. Mm-hmm. Do the work.
You're doing something.
Right. You're putting in the work to do it. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. And now, again, this is different than 20 years ago. Everything is what Twitter, Instagram, anything you do is online in a moment's notice.
Yep.
So you have to be really cautious of your business brand and your personal brand and how
one can
it's
easily
taken care of, right? Who's in charge of it? Make sure that what goes out is a full representation of who you are.
Yeah.
I like how you put that because, to put it together, it sounds like you both are saying it's all about making the right impression.
Yep. 100%.
Of course.
Hey, I appreciate that, gentlemen. We do have to take a second to thank our sponsors. Hey, definitely across the board, we would not be here without you, just like community, we would not be here without you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Gentlemen, thank you both for actually being on today's show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll cut out. Thanks.
See you on the next one.